Ken Trahan, Lenny Vangilder. It's our first NBC weekend preview brought to you by First NBC Bank with locations throughout the greater New Orleans area. And, of course, we're spending a good part of the weekend, at least through Saturday night, at the third annual Allstate Sugar Bowl National Prep Basketball Classic here at the Alario Center with 10 boys teams, 8 girls teams. Nice to include the girls this year, Lenny, and a very good field overall.
Very good field, absolutely, and should be an exciting 3 days of basketball. You know, the one great thing about this is people in New Orleans, especially on the boys' side, are getting exposed to some of the outstanding talent from outside the New Orleans area and getting a chance to see what some of these local teams can do against some outstanding competition from across the country. Teams literally from coast to coast in this event.
Yeah, and, of course, you could follow it from gavel to gavel, as it were, at sportsnola.com with our live blog. And, of course, we'll have game stories on each game as well as statistics. And, of course, the Hornets, well, they've continued to struggle a bit. Eric Gordon is back, but then he's not going to play back-to-back games because of his knee injury. That's a smart thing, but at the same time, they're very limited without him.
Yeah, they really are, and I think saw a little bit of that Wednesday night against Houston. 2 games back so far. Ideally, he will be playing again on Saturday when the Hornets travel to Dallas, and then, of course, a homestand coming up this following week where the games are thankfully spaced a couple of days apart, so should see him every game in that homestand, assuming the knee continues to cooperate.
It's a team that struggles to score, and obviously they need his scoring very badly to be able to compete moving forward. NFL playoffs getting underway this weekend. Wildcard weekend, as it were. You have any particular picks in these games?
You know, the game I'm really most interested in seeing is probably the last game on Sunday with Seattle and Washington. 2 rookie quarterbacks in the playoffs for the first time, obviously. 2 very similar styles that they are running. You know, on paper, people want to give the edge to Seattle, but Seattle has traditionally been a great home team and a not-so-great road team. That is a long trip across the country to have to go to our nation's capital.
Yeah, I like that game, too. Wildcard weekend. Of course, another intriguing story. Yet another return to Baltimore by the Colts of Indianapolis with Andrew Luck. It's going to be interesting to see how their road game plays. Ray Lewis, his final home game, in all likelihood, no matter what, after a brilliant career.
Yeah, and it's one of the interesting backstories there to the Colts returning to Baltimore is you will never see Colts on the scoreboard in Baltimore. It'll say Indianapolis or Indy, something like that. It will never say Colts. The other game, the rematch, the NFC, the Packers and the Vikings, that was a terrific game in Week 17. Now they just switch fields. They head to Green Bay, where maybe it's going to be balmy and in the 20s or something like that by Green Bay standards.
Hard to beat a team consecutive times, especially when they're in their own backyard. And, of course, Cincinnati and Houston. And, boy, the Texans, you would have thought they were a favorite in the AFC, but they've stumbled down the stretch. The Bengals play good defense. To me, this game's all about which quarterback plays better, Andy Dalton or Matt Schaub.
Yeah, and don't forget this, too. Remember, it wasn't but 3 years ago that the Saints went into the playoffs on a 3-game losing streak. Granted, they were the 1 seed and didn't have to worry about playing in the wild card round, but look at the whole body of work for Houston. This was one of the 2 or 3 best teams in football for 12 or 13 weeks of the season. Yeah, they stumbled down the stretch, but can they get it back together? I wouldn't rule it out.
No, I wouldn't rule it out either. I certainly think there's an opportunity there. And, of course, finally, where the Saints are concerned, Pete Carmichael getting a sniff from the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, it's interesting. Obviously a lot of the silly season, if you will, getting underway now with coaches on the move and a lot of openings, whereas Andy Reid apparently was going to make all these trips. Now maybe he's just going to Kansas City. Chip Kelly, what will happen with him after Oregon plays on Thursday night in the Fiesta Bowl? Will he start getting some sniffs out there? It's intriguing stuff. But Pete Carmichael, good for him to get a shot there. And I tell you, I think there's some other guys that probably on that staff, despite a 7-9 record, that deserve to get a shot as well.
Lenny, as always, appreciate it. Have a great weekend. See you Monday.
See you Monday.
All right, for Lenny, I'm Kenny, and thank you to First NBC Bank for their continuing support. This has been our First NBC Bank Weekend Preview, and we'll talk to you again on Monday. God bless.